Marley Majcher, and I have a celebrity-based catering and event planning company in Los Angeles called The Party Goddess. And many years ago, I wrote a business book to solve my own problems because, like a lot of you, I'm an entrepreneur, and even though I went to business school, I still had a really tough time figuring out how to solve my own business problems. So I'm here today to share 3 tips for things that every entrepreneur must have on their website. Now, you know the drill. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do it. Please like the video and please comment if you're so inclined, because that helps me keep delivering this kind of content to help you and your small business so that you don't have to go through all the drama I did. Okay, so let's jump right in. 3 things. So I do a lot of private coaching, and one of the things that I notice all the time, and in fact, I had a coaching call today and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna make a video about this because literally I sound like a broken record. All I do is say the same thing over and over again. So here you go. You must have a call to action on your website. A call to action is something that tells me what to do next, okay? So if I go to your website and I check it out, and it might be really beautiful and amazing, and you might, let's say, help influencers get more business for their brands. Well, I want to know, what do you want me to do next? Do you want me to follow you on Instagram? Do you want me to call you? Do you want me to email you? Do you want me to click on the box here and sign up for the newsletter? What do you want me to do? You've got to be really, really specific. That sounds very obvious. I promise you it's not. I go to these websites, some of them are beautiful. And it's like, okay, great pictures, great. And then I'm like, okay, now what? I don't understand. What is my next step? Let's say I want to hire you. How do I do that? So remember, you've got to lead the customer through the journey. Now, something that should be really obvious, but it's not, is you've got to be very clear, literally like an elevator pitch, on what you do and why you are different than everybody else out there. Now, in the event planning world, it's one of the most saturated industries literally in the world. And I'm in one of the most saturated markets, if not the most saturated market in the world. So I promise you, I know what it's like to have competition. So you've got to very clearly set yourself apart. So how do you do that? Well, setting yourself apart and having something that you do better than anybody else. Think of it like your secret sauce. Some people call it USP, unique selling proposition. You of course call it your secret sauce, but basically, what is it that you do better? So I can't just say, I'm an event planner and I plan really unique events. Like, okay, BFD, nobody cares, right? Everybody says that. Now, let me give you an example of a really great USP or a really great concept. So Sprinkles, the cupcake company here, many years ago came out with the Sprinkles ATM. Well, that's pretty genius, okay? Because there were a million other cupcake companies out there that had great cupcakes. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world to make great cupcakes, but there are a lot of companies out there that were doing a lot of great things. Now, what Sprinkles did differently, though, is Sprinkles said, hey, listen, we're not only going to make great cupcakes, and we're not only going to make sure we have great press so that you all know about it, but what we're going to do is we're going to put them into this ATM-like machine so that you can basically do a drive-through at any time, day or night, unless they run out, you can get yourself a Sprinkles cupcake. So guess what? Now they have something that's really amazing that they do differently. Now they have this unique selling proposition. Now they have something that the press can climb all over and say, oh my gosh, this is a great hook. This is a great article we could write, right? About Sprinkles and who they're targeting. And guess what? They just massively broaden their target audience. Why? Because some people, let's say, aren't going to necessarily 9 to 5 walk into their store, whatever their hours are, and buy a cupcake. However, now you've got people who get off work late, who have the munchies. You know, pot is now legal in California, so guess what? They really might have the munchies late night. They can drive through, get that cupcake, and that is something unique that only Sprinkles does. Now, a little bonus tip here. It helps if you have something that is not only unique, but that is what we call high barriers to entry, meaning somebody can't just copy you in 1 second. So let's say that I am a delivery company. And all of a sudden I say, okay, great. Well, I'm going to throw this in and we're going to have deliveries come to you 10 minutes faster for the same price. Okay, well, that's good. And that is a unique selling proposition. But somebody else can copy that pretty easily. It's much more difficult for somebody to copy and create a cupcake ATM, right? So that's what I mean by little bonus tip about it helps if you've got something that's a high barrier to entry that your competition can't readily copy. Now, the next thing I want to make sure you have a very clear and attractive contact form on your website. There are so many ways to do this. Of course, you can contact and then you can click and you can go to a whole form where it says name, email, let's say in my case, event date, budget, number of guests, etc. One thing that you want to make sure you realize is the more information you require from your potential customer, A, the less likely they are to give it to you because it's more of an investment, right? Even if it's just of their time. And B, the less responses you're going to get, A, because they don't want to give it to you, B, they might not know their event date, et cetera, et cetera. However, I think that's a really good thing. So you might say, well, wait a second. If I get their name and email address, I'll get 100 people to fill out the form, right? And I'm saying, hey, get the name, the email, the date, the budget, the number of guests, and the type of party, let's say. You might say, well, that's a lot of information. I'm going to go from getting 100 potential leads to getting 10. And my response to you is, that's fine. Why? Because those 10 leads are much more qualified leads. And it isn't just a numbers game. You don't want to just be like, oh, we just got millions of leads. No, you want to have really good leads. How do you get really good leads? You ask more questions. So those qualifying questions narrow down the base of customers who are going to respond. But the ones that do respond are going to be much more likely to be potential customers for you. And that's going to be a whole other video on how we all waste so much time on the intake process or talking to clients who are not a fit for us in the first place. And it's okay that they're not a fit. Have something that gets as much information as you can, that fine line between getting as much information as you can and not asking them for like 1,000 questions, right? Because then they'll never fill it out and you won't have any leads from your website. But the other thing is make sure that your contact information and everything about your website represents your brand. Because I went to one today, it was the contact thing, and it was all about how this great dog grooming company and they love pets and they do all this stuff. And then you go to the contact form and it's like, wah, wah, wah. It's white form, nothing about dogs, nothing exciting, nothing that says like, we love dogs, like we just told you 1 second ago on the other page. It's just kind of like, So that sort of gets me to say, well, they're not that passionate about what they do. So remember, not only do you want to get the correct information, but you still want to convey your brand. That contact sheet is still an extension of your brand. It still should have your same font and colors, and it still should evoke whether you're really high end or you're kind of cheeky or campy or whatever it be. And then remember, whatever response they get from completing that form needs to still be on brand. So does that make sense? I hope so. So remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because we're trying to hit the magic numbers that YouTube wants us to hit so we can stay in business, so to speak. And like this, ring the bell if you're so inclined, and leave a comment. That would be great. So those are the 3, plus a couple bonuses, things that every entrepreneur needs on their website. Bye for now.